Accused of holding a woman in his home against her will for at least 6 months. And tonight, the sister of the alleged victim is sharing her story with ABC 13. Sarah Al-Sheikh has the latest tonight at 10.
The woman I spoke with says her sister had been living in these conditions for longer than 6 months. She alleged it had been for years. She also says she was there on Friday when Wright was arrested and she was able to take her sister home with her.
Disgusted, sad, like that this is how she had been living.
Locked inside an apartment with no way to get out by herself, Shanita Carter says that's the situation her sister was living in for years.
She had been living this whole time.
Carter says her sister was dating 41-year-old Kenneth Leon Wright. Wright is charged with aggravated kidnapping and assault family violence. According to Harris County court documents, Wright abducted a woman whom he was dating. He allegedly held her in a residence with the windows blocked for at least 6 months and abused her. Carter alleges months would go by and he would occasionally bring her sister around their family, but she claims they never knew exactly where she lived.
He would not give us the address. He would only bring her to my mom's house.
Carter says things eventually escalated and her mother tracked down the address and called in a welfare check. Carter says she showed up after the police and got a look at the alleged conditions of the apartment.
You got her locked in here, literally. The windows have nails in them. You got to have a key. So if he lock it from the outside, she don't have a key, she locked in.
I spoke with a woman who answered the apartment door at the address listed on Wright's court documents. That woman called me and said she is Wright's current girlfriend and that he was taking care of the alleged victim and not holding her against her will. Carter says now that her sister is back with her, she's focused on helping her move past this.
That's my baby sister. Like, I want her to know that I'm here for her. I got her back. Like,
online records show Wright is still at the Harris County jail.
So this was a crazy story that I seen. So I'm thinking he just like locked her, up in a house, and it seemed to be an apartment. Now, old buddy had a girlfriend too, which one person brought up. That's allegedly aiding and abetting. So bedding. So the girlfriend is saying that the assailant's the assailant's girlfriend, whatever you want to call them, the one that's getting charged, is saying that he was taking care of her. So. And to that side of the story, if you hear it, he brought her around the mother's house and she went back with him. That kind of corroborates what his girlfriend is saying. Right? Apparently he was 41 years old. I'm guessing this was a younger woman. Right? Also, I'm assuming that there were no men around. Right? Because a man would not allow that to happen. I'm gonna speak on that later, but check out the current news playlist, the Real 101 playlist. And he would bring her around and she would go back with him. It was this particular girl telling the story on TikTok, right? Some months ago. I don't know how old, I just heard it some months ago. And she was like, she was dating a jail dude. And she met him as a correction officer in the prison. They be lying too, but her story kind of sounded truthful, but whatever. And he got her to move to like Dallas. I think they moved. I forgot where they came from, maybe Houston or whatever, but they was moving to Dallas. And he became controlling and abusive, right? That's what she said. I pretty much believe her, but and she said that they would go back home and he would go back home with her. And she would check in with her parents, whatever, her mother. And her mother kind of seemed like she wasn't her, wasn't herself. And long story short, she ended up sneaking, going back home. I think she ended up leaving him and sneaking and going back home. Also, she ended up getting with another prison guy. So that wasn't the point, but she did end up getting with another prison guy. Her excuse was, I went to school with him, I know him, this is different. She definitely has the type, right? But to say all of that is, a lot of these women or some women get with these controlling guys. How do you think a pimp operates? Women can be easily manipulated. This is why they can get scammed. This is why a guy that they're not interested in can game them up. and they can be with them, and they psychologically can be played on, especially when they're young. They could be manipulated, played on, finesse. You know, that's why a lot of women are in the church. It's a finesse. That's why a lot of more women go to therapy. It's a finesse. That's why a lot of more women, end up, getting scammed. So obviously, a lot of them end up getting pimped, and giving all the money to the pimp. I mean, you can go on and on. So at one point, it probably turned out, and a woman said this the other day, that when you deal with men that spend money on them, they think they own you. Absolutely. If I buy Madden 26, I own that motherfucker. If I go cash out on a car or a cup of coffee, I own that cup of coffee. So yes, that's not too far off the grid to think when these guys be spending money on a dress or a Van Cleef bracelet or earrings, or they buy you a meal, they believe that. I told this story on the Free Game 89 channel. Check it out. The link's in the description. That I was talking to this chick, and we were all talking, and she was like, yeah, I dated this guy. And we went out. I think she said it was the second date. And he slammed his head on his table and was like, you going to give me some tonight. I paid for this dinner. You going to give me some tonight. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and women know what they be doing. When y'all be dating these guys for foodie calls, or y'all serial daters. And believe it or not, there's a lot of serial daters out here. A lot of women they're addicted to dating. And they cry about, not being able to get a relationship. Most guys that can really peep what y'all on, they peep you're a serial dater. They know you for a good time, and not a long time, and you know you for a good time and not a long time. Even if you find a guy that you really, really like, you just conditioned just to be a throwaway. Some people are conditioned to be throwaways and not be in serious relationships. And but this man, had a girlfriend, and the girlfriend was saying that he was taking care of her, and he had the windows nailed down and the door shut and all that, and she was actually going with him. And at the end of the day, if she's 18, 19, 20 years old, how far gone is her mind? Is she going to testify against him? Does her story corroborate what they say? The sister said it's been years. Some people said it, according to the report, it's been 6 months. What was it? He probably started off taking care of her, buying her stuff. She didn't want to work. And then he flipped the switch on her. Y'all got to be careful when simps are dangerous, man. Men that lead with their money are dangerous because they understand what's now starting to be understand is when I leave with the money, I already know when the money's not there, you're going to break bad. You don't love or you don't care about me. So guys, simps are waking up to that. So for her to be trapped in an apartment, it looked like it was an apartment. Tell me if I'm wrong. Nobody said nothing. She didn't bang on the walls or nothing. And you believe it or not, a woman like this, and we got to see, I'm going to see if I can follow up in the story. A woman like this won't testify against him, and she'll go right back to him. A lot of women like to be mistreated, and people just need to throw it on the floor. I mean, women I talk to, not I'm gonna say like talk to, but I've been around, and they talk about they fought their baby father, or they was in an abusive relationship, they was fighting each other, and they didn't leave. It was the man that broke up with them or cheated or left them that they didn't leave. It's unfortunate that has to be some type of a medical term where these women be faithful in abusive relationship or relationships they getting cheated on, and because of the emotional high, or maybe she's been indoctrinated. Like sometimes you live a life like that, you've been indoctrinated just to believe that's what it is. But he probably was paying bills and he tricked her with the money, and now she's so mentally gone because women can easily be manipulated. But I also take it to my point of a man is not gonna, so it must not have been no men around. A man is not gonna allow that to happen, bro. He wouldn't even, if her father was in her life or her grandfather was there, he probably wouldn't even have brought her around them. I guarantee you that, because a man gonna be like, nah, you ain't taking my daughter. No, you ain't taking my granddaughter over my dead body. Get the fuck out of here. Leave my granddaughter and don't you come back and don't you contact her again. So that's the importance of having men around. Where's the son? Where is the father, the grandfather, the great grandfather? Where are the men? And this is why I say, man, a lot of the black community is a matriarchy, man. It is run by women. They run the guys off, and if a man was there, there's no way this would have happened. No way he would have been bringing her around and this would have happened. So they saw the girlfriend say he was taking, and he probably was taking care of her. So we got to see if the witness cooperate. But it took the grandmother to say something ain't right to call and go find her. But she was brought over there, didn't say nothing, didn't run or nothing. Didn't do no Morse code, didn't text. You know what I mean? I'm telling y'all, y'all be surprised, bro. Y'all be surprised. Y'all be surprised, man. I knew this one girl, and I never met her, but I knew of her. And she got with an older dude, and he got her strung out on dope. Good looking girl, you know what I'm saying? And got with her, and he been manipulating, control her. So when you hear women talking about older guys just want to manipulate and control you and mess your life up, I've heard those stories like firsthand. I've seen them. Everybody don't have good intentions. That's a fact. Everybody don't have good intentions, and it's so unfortunate. And it sounded like he kept her as a pet. So, it was, aiding or aggravated assault or whatever, or kidnapping. So was it any forceful sex? And apparently he had a whole nother crib. That's from what I remember, Marcolette. He had a whole nother crib. So, like I said before, this is why fathers and men are so important. Ain't no way that's happening. So when you say you don't need men, you go right here and there. So we see if we can follow the story up. Check out the current news playlist. Hit the link tree. Find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Amazon, Kick, Twitch. Join the Patreon. Everything's in the link tree. Check out my Detroit channel. Peace.